Before we get to know the fifth wall, it is important to talk about breaking the fourth wall. You must have heard about it already. Two of the most funny and touching series of our times, The Office and Fleabag, have done this throughout their entirety. The way Jim looks at the camera every time, or when Fleabag takes a quick minute to express her inner thoughts to you.
We lost a week.
What was that?
What?
Where did you just go?
What?
You just went somewhere. There. There. Where'd you just go?
That's called breaking the fourth wall. Basically, when a character directly addresses the audience. The term comes from theatre. Picture yourself watching a play in an auditorium. The stage usually has three walls, and everything which is part of the story takes place within these three walls. Now, why is it called breaking the fourth wall? Because when a character directly addresses the audience, he breaks the imaginary fourth wall separating the audience and the actors, and hence the term. This spills out on television, where the character breaks the hypothetical wall separating them and the viewers. Now that we are clear with the fourth wall, what is the fifth wall? Take a guess. A quick search will tell you that breaking the fifth wall could mean one of these: actors breaking character, referencing the studio or the network, audience interactions. Here's an example of a character breaking the fourth wall and interacting with the audience in a way that implies the creator's involvement, which would be considered breaking the fifth wall.
Oh! Oh, hello. I know, right? Whose balls did I have to fondle to get my very own movie? I can't tell you, but it does rhyme with Pulverine. And let me tell you, he's got a nice pair of smooth criminals down under. Anyway, I got places to be.
By directly acknowledging the writers and the scenarios which they are a part of, the character is breaking the fourth wall between the fictional world and the audience. But they are also implying the existence of the creators or writers that have constructed this situation, thereby breaking the fifth wall as well. But these definitions of fifth wall are not quite convincing. For me, breaking the fifth wall, in essence, means breaking the matrix. Now, I do not want this to be a simulation hypothesis video. Let's go back to the auditorium, where we were watching that play. We have the three walls or the three dimensions of the world and the fourth wall, separating the actors and the audience. Physically, the fifth wall would be the roof above, which spreads over not just the actors, but also the audience. And hence, technically, the fifth wall is the one above. So, a divine power with a capital G or capital A and I seems the most plausible fifth wall. This idea that we are all characters in someone else's world is as old as this world itself. Only the medium of art has changed with time, but the core remains. Starting with the Bhagavad Gita, where Lord Krishna says that the entire creation is his divine Maya. Back in the day, we had religion and supernatural powers as our stories. Even the fact that Gita's main philosophy is to break away from this Maya is similar to breaking the matrix. From religion, humans moved on to books and emerged the idea that we are characters of a book. I'm sure in medieval England, thinkers might have thought themselves as characters of a play. Check ancient Greece as well, where Plato's allegory of cave talks about people living as shadows, unaware of their own world. In this story, Plato describes people that have spent their lives chained in a cave facing a blank wall. They watch shadows projected onto the wall by objects passing in front of a fire behind them, and they give names to these shadows. The shadows are the prisoner's reality, but not accurate representations of the real world. Fast forward to the 20th century, and we all became actors of a film, aptly summarized in the iconic line.
सब साले सबके दिमाग में अपनी अपनी पिक्चर चल रही है सब साले हीरो बनना चाह रहे हैं अपनी पिक्चर में इस साला हिंदुस्तान में जब तक सलीमा है लोग चूतिया बनते रहेंगे
Now that we live in the AI age, we might be a part of a simulation or a video game. Basically, the kind of content and art that we consume at a particular point in history becomes the world we are living in. All of them point out to the fact that we are nothing but characters of a grand story. The one above is the best story writer. In this case, We, the characters, trust the author of our stories and our ultimate fate, which is written by him. Now let's talk about The Truman Show. It's a great movie, and there are several reasons why, but we won't be discussing that. Rather, we'll understand the form of storytelling, which might seem simple, but can actually be mind-bending. Imagine The Truman Show being played in an auditorium instead of a movie screen. All the actors inside the movie are on a podium, but there's a movie, or rather a television show being played inside the movie that we are watching. A wall which separates Truman Burbank from the audience of his show, quite literally and metaphorically. So the fourth wall, in this case, is the wall that separates Truman the character from the audience of his television show. The waitresses, the guy in the bathtub, the cops and so on. Christoph, the creator of the television show, is sitting on the other side of the fence in the audience and controlling the world of Sea Haven. He is still a part of the stage, and when Truman directly talks with Christoph in the end of the movie, he is directly talking with the studio and the production team inside the movie. We, the audience, are watching the movie Truman Show, directed by Peter Weir, and not just the television show created by the godlike figure Christoph. Thus, we are sitting on the other side of the imaginary wall, which would be the fifth wall. Still with me here? When Truman begins to suspect that he is being watched, he performs for the audience in his bathroom. Here, he is indirectly and unknowingly breaking the fourth wall. Not the fourth wall of we, the audience, but the fourth wall separating him from the audience inside the movie. And because there's an extra layer of wall added here, the original fourth wall separating us from the actors becomes the fifth wall.
That one's for free.
If Truman was to directly address us, or even if one of the audience inside the Truman Show was to address us, it would be breaking the fifth wall. In theory, the Truman Show being a show within a show, a story within a story, adds an extra dimension of wall separating the audience in our world with the audience in the movie, who are in turn separated by another wall from Truman Burbank, the character stuck inside Sea Haven. That should make it clear. And remember when we talked about the roof above, which is the fifth wall, in a three-walled movie? Considering the same analogy for the Truman Show, the ceiling above the theatre would be the sixth wall, which spreads over not just the residents of Sea Haven and Christoph, but also we the audience in this very world. And so we must consider that we could have our very own Christoph on the other side of the ceiling, looking down at us, controlling our lives, running a television show for the audience in his dimension. And something similar can be said of the Matrix as well. There's an additional level of wall separating the Matrix and the world where the mothership resides, where Morpheus, Trinity and everyone lives actually. And now consider the Black Mirror movie, where it isn't the character that's breaking the fourth wall, but we as the audience who are breaking the wall and making choices for the characters inside the movie. Let's consider that we are all part of a cosmic Truman Show with a production team in the skies running this absurd world that we call reality. What if you are given a chance to sit alongside the production team on the other side of the ceiling and have a look at your life? What if you could see yourself as a third person? Well, hang on because I'll be talking about just that in the next video. So stay tuned, subscribe and thank you for watching.